Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do a box and whiskers plot in Excel. There's no single button to click on to get this. But I'm going to show you a way of creating a box plot in Excel. And first, I'm going to show you the thought behind it. And then second, we're actually going to do it on the computer. So you can see exactly what to put in which cell and so on. Recall that the box and whiskers plot is a way of visualizing the 5-number summary. Those 5 numbers are the min, the max, the median, and quartile 1 and quartile 3. Remember, the median splits the data into 2 parts. Approximately half is above, approximately half is below. Quartile 1 has approximately a quarter, hence 1/4 of the data below it. Quartile 3 is approximately 3/4 of the data below it. Max is also 4th quartile, median is also the 2nd quartile, and min is the 0th quartile, because there's approximately 0% of the data below the minimum. So here's what a box and whiskers plot looks like. This one actually does not show the outliers. We'll deal with that later. Here's the minimum, if there's no outliers. Q1, Q2, the median, Q3, and Q4, the maximum. Again, there's no way of actually drawing this in Excel, except note that Excel does allow you to place error bars. And that's what these whiskers are going to be. And as for the rest of the construction of the box plot, it's going to be a column plot. And it's kind of like a bar plot, but only in a column instead of in a horizontal. So here's what it's actually going to look like while you do it. Let's put 0 down here at the bottom. First, you're going to draw, we'll call it box 1. Box 1 is going to go from 0 up to there and down. The height of that is going to be Q1. The second box you're going to draw is this box. The height of that box is Q2, the median, minus Q1. The height of this third box is Q3 minus Q2. In addition to those boxes, you're going to need to know the lengths of the whiskers. This whisker length is going to be Q1 minus the min. And this whisker length is going to be Q4 minus Q3. Once we create this stacked column chart and put in the error bars, we're then going to go in there and change the colors so that it looks consistent. This bottom box, you're going to change the color of that to transparent, and you're going to get rid of the borders, if there are borders. These two, you're going to change the interior color to the same color, hopefully something grayish or slightly off gray, something light. And you're going to put borders around them both, because that's going to create a border around this, which doubles the border here, giving you that thicker border, which signifies the median. So now, let's go to the computer, see what to put in each of the cells, and go from there. And here we are at the computer. So we're going to make a box plot. Remember that picture I just drew on the board. There's going to be 5 numbers we have to calculate from our 5-number summary. So we got to do the 5-number summary first, and then we calculate 5 numbers off of that, and then we do graphing with those 5 numbers. So let's go ahead and use the data that we just collected in our surveys. Let's go ahead and do a box plot of the height. It's the I column. It starts at 2, and for the entire class it goes all the way down to number 730. Maybe a little bit easier for me to type in these things instead of just highlighting all 729 values. So the first thing we're going to do is calculate the quartiles. Maybe Q1, Q2. Okay, get rid of the cursor. Remember, Q0 is the min. Function in Excel to calculate the minimum is min, and in parentheses all the values. So it's going to be I2 and then a colon to indicate through I730, 730. Boom. So the shortest person that we interviewed is 55 inches. Q4, remember, is the maximum. The function is max, and then it's going to be I2 through I730. Boom. Remember, Q2 is also the median, so we can calculate it using the quartile function or using the median function. Median, whoops, of I2 through I730. So we have our min, our max, and our median. Let's do the quartiles now. The function is quartile, Q-U-A-R-T-I-L-E, and then it takes the entire array, I2 through I730, and then you have to specify which quartile you want. We want the first quartile, so we'll put a 1 there. Boom. And then similarly, we'll do this more or less the same thing, but with quartile 3. So this is quartile. It helps because it gives you a clue on how to spell things. There we go. And this will be the third quartile. Notice it also gives you a little hint here what to place in there. Good. And there. Okay. So that's our 5-number summary. Remember, the 5 numbers are the min, the max, the median, quartile 1, quartile 3. In other words, it's all 5 quartiles. Quartile 0, 1, 2, 3, and quartile 4. Now we have to calculate, in order to make this box plot in Excel, we have to calculate 5 numbers off of that. And Excel is rather persnickety, and you have to calculate them in the right order, or you have to put them on the screen in the right order. So remember, we're doing this for height, and always in brackets put the units. Always. I mean, that's not just for Excel, that's for everything, so that the person who's reading this knows what the units are. So the first number we have to calculate is the bottom of the box, and we'll call this box bot for box bottom. The second number we have to calculate is that lower, the width of the lower, or I guess the height of the lower half of that box, the difference between the median and the Q1. And we'll go ahead and call that low half for lower half. Third thing we have to calculate is the upper half of the box. We'll call it up half. Call these whatever you need to call them, and it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, really. And then the 2 whiskers. We have to calculate the up whisker, which is the whisker from Q3 to the maximum, and the bottom whisker, which I'll call the low whisker, which is from Q1 down to the minimum. So box bottom is actually equal to Q1. So we can do equal, and then all we have to do is highlight this Q1 value. Boom. The lower half, remember, is equal to the median minus Q1. So we can hit equal, and using our cursor, go over to the median, minus, hit the minus button, Q1. Go over and select Q1, hit enter. So the size of the lower half of that box is 3.25 inches. Similarly, the upper half of the box is going to be Q3 minus the median. So equals, there's Q3, hit the minus button, on our computer, and then the median, remember, is Q2, and hit enter. So the upper half of that box is going to be 3 inches. So we know right now that the interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1, is 6¼ inches. So it's kind of narrow, or maybe it's not narrow, I don't know. Upper whisker is going to be the max, or at least for this class, it's going to be the maximum minus the third quartile. So this can be equal to the maximum, which is Q4, minus Q3. And the lower whisker is going to be Q1 minus Q0. So that upper whisker is 9, the lower whisker is 9.75. Those are all the numbers we have to calculate before we can even start graphing the box plot. Now pause for a moment. Hopefully you copied down that picture that I drew on the chalkboard or the whiteboard, because now we're going to actually use these numbers to graph. We're going to highlight the upper set of numbers. So we're going to include the height and box plot low half, up half, as well as the numbers. Insert. We're going to insert a column graph. Well, which one? It's going to be the stacked. It's only going to be the stacked with the different heights. It's not going to be this one. It's going to be this one. Got it? Hit enter or click on the button, and there's our graph. From this, somehow we're going to create a box plot. I'll just make this bigger. First step, yours may not actually be like this. Yours may be all in one column. For some reason, my computer just puts it into 3 columns. First step for me is to switch row and column. So if you've got 3 bars here, you need to click on this button. Boom. Now, we're about 40% of the way there. Here's the box bottom, the lower half, the upper half. So the green and the red are actually the box in the box plot. And the blue is going to disappear eventually. So the first thing, or the next thing we have to do, is put in the whiskers. Because the green and the red are the box, part of the box plot. Now we got to put in the whiskers. Click on the blue box. The whiskers are actually going to be error bars. Go up to Layout, Error Bars, More Error Bar Options. We're going to use, and I'll put this off so you can see what happens here. Now, if you look, we got an upper error bar, or what Excel calls a plus error bar, and a minus error bar. We want to get rid of the plus because we only want the whisker on the bottom. So we want a minus error bar. Now the next thing to do is select how long we want that error bar. Well, how long? We want it 9.75. Custom, specify value, and here it's going to be 9.75. We clicked on it and just fed the cell number over. Hit OK. And I made the mistake there. Okay, we'll click on that and select 9.75. See if this works. Go back down and OK. And it worked. Now, it may be kind of difficult to see the box plot coming up, so I'm going to take this blue and I'm going to color it. I'm going to change the fill to solid, and I'm going to make it disappear, or I'm going to make it white. Now, do you see the box plot all of a sudden start to show up? And actually, I'm going to right click, change the shape to no fill. So we got the lines coming through. Okay, so far so good. We got the bottom whisker, now we got to do the top whisker. Remember, the bottom whisker came from clicking on the blue box, which is the box spot. The upper is going to come from clicking on the green, which is the up half. So I'm going to click on the green, error bars, more options. It's going to be just on the plus side, because now we're only looking at the upper half. Again, custom, specify value. It's going to be on the positive side, so I'll click on that, click on that, click back on this, then OK, and close. Let's take a look. It's starting to look like a pretty good box plot, or it's starting to. Now the next step is to just pretty it up, because there's our minimum, there's our maximum, Q1, Q2, Q3. So the box plot really is done. We just need to make it look better. And by making it look better, we need to make these two boxes, we need to make them the same color and give them a border. So click on that. Actually, double click, right click. Let's make it, what color should we make it? We'll make it a light, no. We'll make it pink, gray, make it a theme color. Okay, that's a nice color, it's tan. And put a box around it, a black box. We're going to do the same with what was green. Right click, change it to tan, and a black box. Getting much better. Click on this and delete it. We don't need it. Now let's go ahead and get rid of these lines. Right click, format grid lines, because those are the grid lines that we're looking to format. And no color makes them go away. We can make solid lines, but make the color pretty light. That might be good. Close. Now it's kind of small, so let's change the axis over here. Double click, or right click, I guess. Format axis. So instead of going from 0 to 90, let's make it 45 to 85 maybe. I don't know, 50 to 90. And close. There we go. That's looking pretty good. We will want to change the font. So format axis, oops, wrong. Right click. Change it from Calibri to Times New Roman. That rocks. And we'll want to make it bigger because I can't see 10-point font and I'm grading it. So 14 looks good. Since this is in Times New Roman, we'll want to make this in Times New Roman. Right click, Times New Roman. Should be smaller than the label at the bottom, so I guess that's good. Any other tidying up you want to do, go for it. But this is good enough for me and makes me very happy that I finally discovered a way to do box plots in Excel. So let's summarize what we just did. This is actually a gussied up column chart. First thing we do is calculate all the quartiles, all 5 of those quartiles. Minimum, maximum, median, quartile 1, quartile 3. Once we've done that, we have to calculate these 3 numbers. The bottom of the box, boom, which is actually quartile 1. The lower half, which is the height of this box, which is the median minus quartile 1. The upper half, which is this box, which is quartile 3 minus the median. Once we've calculated those, we have to calculate the size of the whiskers. The upper whisker for this class is the maximum minus Q3. The lower whisker is Q1 minus Q0, or Q1 minus the minimum. Those are all the numbers we have to calculate. From there, we go into a column plot. It may be that when we highlight these 8 cells, we get 3 columns. Well, we don't want that, so we click on the exchange rows and columns. Then we get the column plot, a single column. And then we just go from there, tidying it up. Remember, the whiskers are actually the error bars. The lower whisker is the error bar on box bottom, and just the minus. And the upper whisker is the error bar on the upper half, and it's just the plus. It's complex, it's messy. That's why a lot of people don't do box plots on Excel, or that's why most people don't do box plots in Excel. But box plots are very, very useful in comparing variables or comparing subsets of a given variable. You will have to do one of these for me, so you'll want to bookmark this video. So, thank you much. Take care.